to the Diamond Niner Gals podcast. This is episode 14 of the 2024 season. I'm Nick, joined as always by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Producer Brad making all this work.
Hey.
And last but never, ever least, the HSC, Coach Chastain. What's up, Coach?
Good afternoon. How are y'all?
Good.
Yeah, we're good, but I don't think we're as good as you are.
I know. My mood has just been immaculate on this beautiful Monday, so I wonder why.
I just can't imagine why. You know what? Let's take 45 minutes or so and break it down, shall we?
Do it.
All right. So obviously there is a ton of stuff to talk about, and this is going to take some time. So if you're listening at home or you're stuck in traffic listening to the car, just get comfy because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's start on the field, though, because last week the Niner Gals, well, I mean, there's really no other way to say it, Coach. You guys are on a bit of a heater here. 11 straight wins for the Niner Gals, including 4-0 last week. So talk to us about your week.
Yeah, it was we went into the week with the kind of the road warriors mentality. We talked about that at practice last Tuesday before we went to Greensboro on Wednesday. And we just really made the decision to keep focusing on us and everything that we've been doing the last couple of weeks. But we just decided to make a commitment that we were going to dial up our toughness with 4 road games, going to Greensboro and then turning around Thursday, driving all the way to Birmingham and having a really crucial conference matchup with UAB this weekend. So we just committed to being road warriors and talked a lot about what it was going to take for us to be successful on the road. And I mean, kudos to the gals. I mean, they got it done, and it was an exciting week. We scored a lot really early against Greensboro last week. It was a really great game, and we got a lot of people in the game at Greensboro, which is, as everyone knows, that's something that we really love to do. And I think a strength of ours is just getting a lot of subs in the game, whether it be offensively or defensively, and got some pitchers in for some good work on Wednesday night before going to UAB, and then made the long trek to UAB on Thursday. It was not an easy drive, of course, because you're going through Atlanta. First Greenville, then Atlanta. So we stopped in traffic several times and finally made it to Birmingham right at the start of our practice time, had a great practice, and then took care of business this weekend. It was a really great weekend in Birmingham for us. I mean, dominated the first 2 games, scored a lot of runs. Ella Chansey, I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but Ella Chansey had a heck of a weekend in Birmingham, as did a lot of our players. I'm really proud of really the entire team. But in our scout meeting on Friday, going into the series of game 1 at UAB, what we knew about their offense was that they don't really strike out a ton. They don't really walk a ton. We knew the ball was going to be put in play a lot. So we committed as a unit to playing what we called smothering defense in the series, all 3 games, because we knew our strikeouts were going to be low. We felt like they were going to put the ball in play a lot. They bunt a lot. UAB had going into our series, had 70 bunts on the year, about 40 sacrifice bunts. So we just wanted to take away their offense by playing our best defense. And I think we recorded 1 error on the weekend. That was just something that we really centered the series around, was being our best on defense and then letting our offense just be free to work. And if you watched yesterday's game, it was quite the excitement there at the end. UAB went up solo home run early in the game, first inning off of Barefoot, her second start for the weekend. And we just were a slow start off Kirby. I talked all weekend about she's a little tricky from a velocity standpoint. So we just were early off of her in a lot of our at-bats. And really just kind of stayed the course, never panicked, and were able to get the job done in the top of the 7th inning yesterday in Birmingham. And I think it was the most electric top of the 7th inning we've had all year. which is really, really fun. A lot of really cool moments this weekend. We have a 11-game winning streak going on, which, Nick, you already alluded to, which we don't like to talk a lot about, but, here we are just kind of embracing the last part of our regular season playing really well. Our SID, Shelton Moss, shout out to Shelton here. He provides me a ton of little special statistical nuggets throughout the series. He's awesome at that. And I think this is our longest winning streak since 2016. The gals are playing really well. The selection committee looks heavily into how you play the last 10 games of the season. And so that was something that we kind of knew going into these last few weekends, as we're on the hunt for a conference championship, kind of on the eve of the selection show. It wasn't really things we were talking about verbally with the team, because it's not really a part of our process. We believe, the outcomes are going to be a byproduct of our process being really good. So, but yesterday after the game, we really I just really just told them how proud I was of them for where we're at and how we've played the last few weeks. We've won 9 straight conference games, 11-game winning streak. Corey Hoffler, we cannot have this episode without just talking about Corey Hoffler. Most games played as a Niner, broke the record yesterday with Game 3 in Birmingham, with 238, I think was the record. And just the legacy that she has left. She's changed me as a person and a coach, and she has single-handedly changed our program from the time that we started the journey together in 2019 as a freshman. So for there to be no one that has worn the jersey more in game than her, I'm just could not be happier for her and more proud to be a part of that journey, and to watch her grow into who she is today. So that was really cool. After the game, she got the game ball, the dugout card. But, going back to UAB, Michaela Mitchell, old stomping grounds, just to bring her back to that place. For the first time since she transferred from UAB a couple years ago, I could not have been more thrilled to see the way that she played all weekend, just with kind of a fire underneath her to play the game really hard. She had a lot of really big moments for us offensively, had a really great statistical weekend. That was something that we celebrated yesterday when we got done. So just a lot of really great things. We got a lot of good mojo. But, what we believe is that you create that. That's not luck. Mm-hmm. It's not just pie in the sky. It's real, and it's something that the team is embracing and creating day in and day out. And we've just been really focused on stacking everything that we can together, just kind of charging forward these last couple weeks of season. So really happy. Vibes are great. Really proud of them. And no matter what happens this weekend against North Texas, because I know we're going to talk about that, and what a crucial conference series and matchup that is here in a few days. No matter what happens this weekend and how the standings end up, us going into Wichita for the tournament and then going into selection show, I just have been so amazed by how the team has responded to everything that has been thrown their way the last few weeks.
Yeah. Going back to the UAB series, yesterday's game, there was a crucial challenge in the last inning. I think UAB hit a 2-run homer, and we challenged whether the runner left early. And it turns out she did leave early, so in the game, the 2-run homer. And I believe she was out. The runner first was out. So it went from a 3-0 lead with one out to, I think, 2 outs and still a 1-0 lead. And then I think the momentum just shifted from there. With the next inning, the next half inning is when we exploded offensively. And you could feel it go all game. You could feel it. You just knew we were going to break through at some point. And we finally did in the last inning. We waited till the last inning to break through, but we finally did, and exploded with a bang. Talk a little bit about that challenge. Give us a little insight if you can.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to who the runner was at first, but they, opened up a lot of different things this year for us to review, and leaving early at any base was one of those. And so we've really taken the opportunity to use that at our advantage all season. If you've watched us play at all, you've seen that we've reviewed that many times. And we have people in the dugout that are stationed. Their job when we're on defense and the opposing team gets runners on, their job is to solely be on, is the runner on time? And so there's been a few times where we reviewed it and it was close and we didn't win it. We didn't overturn it. But yesterday when the runner at first let off the base, I believe she was in motion. So it seemed live, like they had a hit and run on. Or some type of action play that resulted in the runner left really early. So in softball, you need to leave when the ball comes out of the pitcher's hand. So when the ball is free from the pitcher's hand, that is your first opportunity to leave the base, lead off the base, which is very different than baseball, obviously. In baseball, you're off the bag, as the pitcher is even starting or getting set to start. But for us, you have to lead when the ball leaves the hand. And the runner in our eyes live left when the pitcher was almost like at the peak. Sam was throwing. When the pitcher was at peak, 12 o'clock, the highest part of her circle, I thought the runner was already off the base. So it was a big moment for us. On the counter side of that, when we're in really tight situation, if we had been UAB, right, we're on the bases, I was telling our runners on the on-deck circle, Lexi Wagner, CJ Layton, who coached first for us, whoever was over there was reminding them when they got to first to be on time. We almost, at this point, with how the game has gone this year with people replaying runners leaving at first, in a crucial situation, we want to leave a hair late now. Like, you have to be on time in those scenarios, counteracting that. So we just felt like she left really early. It was really clear. And thankfully, the umpires had enough evidence in their review in their views to overturn it. And it was definitely a huge momentum shift because that gave us 2 outs. And we were able to get that third out. The runs obviously negated off the scoreboard. And yeah, it was a big turning point. I think it gave the team just that kind of like final push to like go win the game, that it was ours. They kind of just decided that they were done messing around with Kirby. So, but yeah, it was a big moment. And, a lot of times, again, it's not just me that is watching the play, but we have other team members in the dugout, other assistant coaches, staff members who are watching the runner, because CJ Layton and we're so focused on the pitcher and the catcher and the batter. We've got people stationed in the dugout that's their job in that moment.
So, Coach, the Friday game against Tulsa that you ended up winning 2-0, I accused Rhodey of just waiting and just like knowing that, when we get to the end, then I'll pull it out. I accused her of that, and she didn't deny it. But now yesterday, she's done it again, Coach. What does she do? She's manipulating games, clearly, because it's just like, hey, I'm going to hang out, and then we get to the end of the game, I'm going to put us in the lead. How can you have to be really good to plan that?
Well, I didn't know that that's what she was doing. So we, her and I, we can have a conversation about that because, I personally think we could take a different approach there, Ari, if you're listening. I'm kidding. Yesterday we hit a lot of balls that almost went out the entire game. Mm-hmm. Like if you were watching, I don't know if you could really tell from the broadcast, but we hit some balls that literally like scraped the wall, or the kid basically caught the ball over the wall, the outfielder. If you were looking at UAB's stats going into the weekend, you notice that they've only hit 12 home runs on the year, and 6 of those are in conference. And I don't remember off the top of my head how many of those have been at their home field. But now that I've played there and experienced kind of the wind tunnel and the wind pattern and just kind of the field in general, we were hitting balls in left that the Sioux would have gone out all game. And so I think that we finally kind of realized you kind of had to hit the ball to right center for it to go out. with how their setup was. And so we had hit a lot of balls really hard. And, luckily the insurance that Ella Chansey gave us there at the end, I know Rhodey had the big hit to go ahead. And then the insurance that Ella gave us, both of those hits were more middle of the field, a little bit right center of the field. So we just, I think, kind of realized there in that game 3 that if we kept trying to pull the ball with authority, those balls aren't going out. The wind was blowing straight in that direction. We had a lot more give towards the right center part of the field. And so I thought that really worked well in our favor there at the end with Rhodey and with Chansey. But we hit a lot of balls really hard in game 3. It just, the whole game, it felt like, we should have been up by 6 or 7. And another park, those balls would have scored runs. And that just wasn't the story yesterday. As you guys know, the game is sometimes a little unforgiving.
Well, she showed me up against Greensboro by hitting a leadoff homer.
That home run, that might have been the highest home run, like elevation wise, she's hit all year. Even the Tulsa one on that Friday night, I know was like kind of towering, but the one at Greensboro, I thought it was just kind of a routine pop up to left when she hit it live. And then it like kept going and kept going. It was towering. I think, again, like Ari is kind of known for hitting the ball even higher than she does far sometimes. So,
yeah, I thought the first pitch of the game, I thought she hit it out down the left field line and ended up hitting the wall foul. That brings up a good point. I don't know if we've talked about this. You moved Ari to the leadoff spot the last few weeks. Talk a little bit about that. Your thinking behind that move.
Yeah. So, we've been playing really well, as we've already talked about. And so anytime you change the lineup when you're playing really well, you just have a little bit of reservation. You just want to make sure that it's the right thing to do for the whole team. And I just kudos to my staff, Katie Browder and Jody Davidson, CJ Layton. We have conversations daily about, what is best for the team in this scenario. And there's a lot of things that go into that answer. So we've actually we toyed around with the idea of taking Abby Knight out of the leadoff spot for a couple weeks before we actually did it. We just felt like from a statistical standpoint, like, when you broke down Abby as the leadoff, we felt like she was going to be more successful for us. And the way that the games were playing out, we felt like if we moved her down to the 9, it would help us turn the lineup over in some crucial situations. In some crucial situations, we would, in the middle of the game, when the game is a little bit higher leverage, we would come up with a better scenario at the bottom of the order to turn over to the top. So it was more about moving Abby than moving Ari. And a part of the conversation, we met with Abby about it. I think we finally decided to do it game 2 of Tulsa. I believe is that Saturday Tulsa game is when we finally pulled the trigger and changed the lineup over. But we talked to Abby about it before the team knew that we were going to change the order around. There's just so much morale and mentality and just belief in Abby Knight, and she had been our leadoff hitter all year. And so we just really didn't want to change up the team's vibe and mentality and just throw them off. But we did think it was what was best for the team. So we met with Abby. We talked with Ari just about like, okay, you're going to just move to the leadoff spot. So we just bumped everybody up and put Abby in the 9. Now, since then, we've had a few changes in the middle, just honestly based on production, where people fit the best based on how they're hitting it at the time. But we did make that kind of big change of putting Abby in the 9, Ari in the leadoff. And Ari handled it like a pro. Abby handled it like a pro. I think it's worked really well for us since then. We've come up in the middle of the game in some crucial situations where, Abby's actually first to the plate. So she gives us a chance to get to the top of the order with runners on. Abby's done really well in that spot. And for Ari, really nothing changed. She only really led off the game one time, obviously, when you're at the leadoff, either the top of the first, bottom of the first, depending upon where we're at. So Ari handled it like a pro. Nothing's really changed for her mentality. So, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question completely, but there's a lot of statistics that go into these decisions. It's usually just not, Skip felt like we should change the lineup around. I'm like, no, Yeah, Skip wrote the lineup, but there was weeks and weeks of conversation about making sure that we were making the right decisions for everyone.
It's just not just a coin flip and move on with it, but yeah, I'm sure there was lots. That's why I asked the question because I knew there was a lot.
Mhm. Yeah,
It,
usually
paid
it's
off.
just, yeah, it's all based on run production. So, like how many people, who's coming up with runners on base, right? Who's coming up with runners in scoring position? How are people hitting as the lead off? How are people hitting in this scenario? And we just are constantly trying to keep tabs on those statistics, and putting people in the spots where they're going to best score runs for the team and win. And, it's just something that, especially Katie and Jody, they have such a pulse on that stuff. And so we keep a close eye on it.
So you mentioned the lineup, and you also mentioned the lineup card that went to Corey. Who writes out your lineup cards? Like, over on baseball, Coach Simmons, like he does. I've actually sat and watched Coach Simmons create a lineup card. It's like an artist, creating art. Who actually fills out your lineup cards?
I do. Yeah. It's we have a dugout card. We call it the dugout card because it's the big one that goes in the dugout every game.
Yeah.
And every game is so different. There's never a game that's the same. Every game we play, something new happens. Something presents itself. And so we really we treat every matchup, every game almost like a story that we're writing. And we don't give the dugout card out when we lose. So that one gets ripped in half by me and thrown away. But when we win, we try to pick out either like just outstanding performance, momentum moment, just something special. And the dugout card gets given to that person post game. And it could have gone to so many people this weekend. Obviously Ella had a heck of a weekend. Sam and Gigi pitched really well all weekend. Michaela Mitchell got the dugout card game 2 because, we won the series game 2 at UAB, her old stomping grounds. And so it's just a cool opportunity to acknowledge someone that, did something great that added to the win. But yeah, I write them out. It's got our lineup. It's got the roster. It's got the umpires' names. I really like for the gals to know the umpires' names and, what umpire is going to be placed where. And it's got available base runners, available defenders, game notes. It's got the opposing lineup to it. So, it's a pretty big staple in the dugout once the game starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really cool pieces of memorabilia. So I feel like Shelton is going to have told you this. We mentioned you guys, you're not talking to the gals a lot about the streak, but you mentioned that we're on the longest one since 2016. Has he told you the record yet?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, we won't. We just won't mention it here.
You can mention it. He tells me so many cool things. He told me this weekend, some of this stuff, he keeps a really good tab on things nationally. So like, how are we stacking up to other players all across the country? Mm-hmm. We are so hyper focused right now on conference and like our own team that he keeps a really good broad scope. He told me this weekend that Gigi was top 10 in appearances, and I had no idea. She's top 10 in the country in appearances. And I thought that was awesome. That was really cool. It's that kind of stuff that he makes sure that I keep it up here. Cause we're on the horizon of all region nominations, all conference nominations, all that stuff is coming up here in the next few days. And so him and I have been having a lot of conversations just about, who we have up for things. And, those individual accomplishments are just also I tell this to the team, and it's such a indication of the program and everyone together. Cause it's really hard to be a great player and just an average program. It's like usually your players that are getting accolades and being acknowledged for things, it's because they're surrounded by a great team. So it's really cool to see them individually get all of the recognition, and they deserve it, and they've earned it, every bit of it. But I think it's a reflection of everyone on the team, and just how everyone is bought into what we're doing. But I don't know what record you're talking about, so you can say it.
For consecutive wins, program record for consecutive wins. If I have this right, Kevin, you're way bigger in the rule book or the record book than I am. But if I have this right, the record's 13, set in 2006.
Okay.
So we're getting there.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Kevin.
Well, speaking of the record book, Nick and I talk about this a lot. There's quite a few on this roster that are putting their names in the career record books. Several people in our lineup. So something we'll probably tweet out soon, I guess. Just
there'll be some tweets like that coming soon.
Yeah, for sure. I do know, I think Shelton told me this weekend when we were in Birmingham about, I think this is the most conference wins we've had in a while. We're 18-6. Is that correct? 18-6. And I think 18 conference wins is the most we've had in a good little bit. I can't remember exactly the year he told me, but I thought that was also a really cool accomplishment for this team.
How about this as a segue? Should you tie the record for a program's longest winning streak at 13, that will guarantee you a 2 seed at a minimum and a double bye in the conference tournament. And should you break that record and get to 14, combined with a little help from FAU, you could potentially be looking at a conference championship. How about that?
Yeah, really exciting. No doubt about it. This weekend against North Texas is going to be just a really fun matchup. There's a lot on the line. We've got a lot of history with them. We've played a lot of games with them over the past couple years, and been in the hunt with them for Conference USA championships. So a lot of respect for their program. Really looking forward to the games, and I know we're gonna segue into talking about them here, but they can pitch. I mean, they've got several arms on their staff that have been there for a couple years. They've got a lot of experience. They've got a lot of talent. So really, I think that's going to be a huge piece of the weekend. At the UAB series, we felt like the way we played defense, shutting down their bunt game and the run game and, all of the balls they put in play defensively was really how we were going to put that one in the bag. But North Texas, I mean, they can pitch, Savage, Wagoner, and they've got a girl, Childers. She was a freshman last year, and she's pitching more this year. So they have a true staff. They've got multiple arms that have thrown a lot for them this year. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really exciting time at the Sioux this weekend. We've got a lot going on, and I know Kevin likes to talk about all the promos, and we'll get to that here in a minute, but it's an exciting weekend. And honestly, we're just embracing the moment and being so present. Like, we talk so much about our process and letting the outcomes happen, stacking things our way. But I tell them, I was like, all of that is great, but we can't do any of it if we're not present in the moment. And that's just really where we've tried to be the past couple of weeks, is just so in the moment of the game, the one in front of us. Because this time of year, it's so easy to start thinking about, seeding and conference tournament and selection show and regionals and, all that stuff is coming up here soon. And it's really exciting. And, I feel like we're in a really good spot as a program. But it's going to happen. We're going to get there. We just can't be there mentally, because if you're there mentally, you're not where you're at right now. And so that's, I think, really what the team has been embracing. And so, for us going into this weekend, it's just about game one at North Texas here, and how we can, accomplish the win, put the first one in our pocket for the series. And, FAU's had a great year. Definitely going to need some help from Tulsa this weekend to probably win it outright, but I just don't think it takes anything away from what our team has done, and where we're at and where we're sitting for, the month of May, to play really great softball in the month of May. So, we're just really not focused on it, just trying to finish out the year, regular season, the best that we can. I think some of the gals, they were talking last night on the bus, that game 3 against FAU where we left 13 on base is, I think, haunting everyone just a little bit, and that's just the game. And, that's how it comes down to those things when you're at the top and you're in the hunt for something. You kind of think back and you're like, oh, game 3, 13 left on base with Florida Atlantic, right? Couldn't get the job done. Or thinking back to game 3 at ECU, that one kind of got away from us. But we've learned so much since then. And I have to believe that it was just meant to be the journey. Everything that those situations taught us, they have made us better for now and where we sit. And, it's just, we love being in the conversation, because that's what it's all about. The pressure of the weekend against North Texas. And, if it wasn't that, then, we probably wouldn't be so excited for the month of May. So here we go.
That's right. It's also always great to have a chance at a championship going into the last weekend, and you put yourself in that position. And it's like you're exactly right. It's been a great season so far. No matter what happens this weekend, lots to be proud of, lots to be excited about, and looking forward to playing softball in May, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Kevin, we'll let you work the promo schedule in here in a second, but a tweet just hit my phone that reminded me to come back to something. We can do that here if I can get it straight. That just dropped across there. Charlotte softball. We don't need to go any further before we talk about Ella Chansey's week. Player of the week in the American Conference. According to the stats I'm reading here, 429 on the week, 2 home runs and 8 ribbies for who we are now calling Stella Ella.
Yeah, that started yesterday or some point over the weekend. I heard somebody start saying Stella Ella, and I thought that was awesome. So definitely tweeted that out last night. But I think this is our third Player of the Week award for the season, and I just love how she's playing. There were several moments yesterday in the game when we were trailing UAB for the first time in the series, and I actually reminded the team in the middle of the game when we just kind of I could tell that we were a little disappointed that we hadn't been able to score any runs yet. And I just reminded the team that when we were at UTSA 2 weeks ago, the Sunday game at UTSA was the first time that we had trailed UTSA all weekend. And they kind of had that same vibe about them. And I'm like, hey, we learned this lesson 2 weeks ago. Just can't mentally check out of it until the last out is recorded. And no matter what, a win's a win, no matter what it looks like at the end. So I felt like Ella's confidence and her poise and, just everything that she was this weekend, it gave the team a lot of, it just gave the team a lot of belief and confidence there at the end of game 3 yesterday that we were going to get the job done. So really proud of her. She deserves it. Her journey's been one that has been so fun to watch unfold. Her personality, her growth. We've had her on the show. You guys know she's just a fantastic human. She's got a big future beyond Charlotte softball. But I am thrilled that she's not on senior weekend this weekend because, I'm already having a hard enough time with the ones that are going out this year. And if she was a part of that group, I wouldn't be able to keep it together. So I'm glad we've got more time.
Yeah. So I did. There was a tweet about, there was a tweet over the weekend about not being able to spell stellar without Ella.
Is that you? Did you do that?
It's true. It's true. I challenge anyone to defy my logic.
We need to give credit where credit is due, because I did not realize that was you, Nick. That was great.
Oh, I don't know that started that, but that did come across the old tweeter machine over the weekend. The gals are smart. They probably came up with their own thing, but yeah, it's true. You can't spell stellar without Ella.
Yeah. Do it with the glove and the bat. Key plays in that game yesterday for sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So you've got a segue there, Coach. You're so good at providing your own segues, and we just roll with them. You do have Senior Week. All right, this is Senior Day coming up this weekend. You've got a list of folks that are going to be playing their last home series in the green and white. Why don't we give you an opportunity to kind of walk us through that group and talk about exactly what they've meant?
Gosh.
But remember, we try to keep this show or at least to an hour.
Yeah. This group they've been through it all. I mean, they were here a couple years ago when we were rebuilding. At some point, this group, well, I should start. This group is, we got a couple different journeys here. You know, Ashley Washington, I think about Ash and just her spirit, and her spirit and her passion and her personality has changed the program. And Ash graduated high school a whole semester early to come be a part of our program. And that seems like forever ago, but you know, she graduated early to come be a part of our program. And, you know, just her spirit is, I think, what I'm going to miss more than anything. You know, obviously had a really great offensive career for us, made a big impact at the plate. The 23 team who knocked the door down to go to regionals for the first time. I mean, she was an integral piece of that offense all year. She was our DP, our leadoff hitter most of the year. And, you know, even this year as a senior, you know, been in and out of the order a little bit more, and, you know, definitely acknowledge that and recognize that, because mentally that is hard. It's hard for any player, but it's especially hard for, you know, someone that's been in the program for many years and has, you know, been on a journey with us as a veteran player, and just love how she's handled herself. And I will say, you know, she really found her way back in the order a couple weeks ago. And, you know, I feel the offense just feels different when she's in it. You know, everything that she's done the last couple weeks, you know, she's been a really big part of us kind of going on this streak here at the end, and, you know, the last 11 wins that we've had. So just her spirit alone is just contagious, and just a big infectious personality. You know, she's the one she's not afraid to say anything. She will say what needs to be said when it needs to be said, and, you know, just awesome for the program. Just looking back on our journey. Kaya Garrett. You what?
And we credit her for the nickname Sassy Pony.
Was that her? I can't remember who that was last year.
It seems like
yeah.
it. I may be wrong. I'm wrong all the time, but it seems like maybe Ashley came up with Sassy Pony. I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
It sounds like her for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like her. Yeah.
She comes up with a lot of things that are said in the program. So you can usually point them back. Most things that happen, you can usually point them back to Ash. You know, she's just very influential with the vibe and everything. Kaya Garrett, Kaya's been with us her whole career, been here like Ash from the beginning, was a part of the rebuild. You know, Kaya started her career as an infielder and always had a passion for offense. You know, she's been a big time offensive player. And I think what I'm so just thrilled by with Kaya is that she is finishing her career on such a high note statistically. Like right now, what she's doing at the plate is just truly what you want from someone that's ending their career. You know, that they go out with, you know, feeling like they're playing their best. You know, that really helps, I think, kind of close this chapter of life and, you know that you did everything you can for the team, for yourself, and, you know, move on to the next chapter of life. But Kaya has been here whole journey, you know, grown a lot, matured a lot, you know, kind of, and all of them, you know, they start as, you know, they start as girls and become women. They learn how to, they grow up, they learn how to be an adult. They learn how to communicate, speak for themselves, find their voice. You know, their personalities just really bloom, which is the coolest part for me to see. But, you know, Kaya's just been an integral part. She's been through it all. She was, you know, here when we didn't win as many games, and then, you know, a part of the journey of, you know, getting better in conference, you know, knocking the door down to the regional for the first time, and now on the mission for this team to finish in a better place than the program's ever been. So really proud of her. Michaela Mitchell, we've talked a lot about her on this one already with the UAB series, but Michaela's from North Carolina and went to UAB and decided to transfer after her freshman year and wanted to come back home. And, you know, Kayla's, she's grown into a leader. She's a captain for us this year. And I think if you had told her 3 years ago that she was going to lead our team in a designated captain spot, she probably would have been like, what are you talking about? You know, like, that's not me. I'm not ready for that. But really just embrace the role that she had this year on the team. And, you know, it's just really changed the program with her leadership and who she is. And early in her career, played a lot of different roles. You know, started a little bit, came into games a lot, ran bases for us, pinch hit for us, was a defensive only player. And then, you know, here to see her as a senior have the greatest role she's ever played, been a part of in the program, I think is also really cool that she can go out on that note and just really put her stamp on changing the program, you know, from a leadership standpoint. So that's really cool, you know, to transfer and have a great experience, you know, to transfer, take the leap of faith and transfer, and then it be everything that you ever wanted is probably for me the most rewarding part, you know, to see them like just fall back in love with the game, you know, just believe in themselves and just have as much fun as they've had really is, I think, for me, the best part. And I love winning. You know, we love winning a lot of games. I think if anyone knows us, that's, you know, what we're about. But, you know, I also really just enjoy the journey that we go on, you know, when we bring someone into the program, and just the time, you know, we spend so much time together. And I think for me, like when you lose seniors every year, I always think about like, what's going to be without them? Like, what is it going to be like without them? You know, because we spend so much time together. And, you know, next year's team will be awesome, but it won't be this year's team because this year's team is so unique to the people that are here now. Let me think. Who have I got? Gigi Barefoot, Big South Pitcher of the Year, regional experience from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Always wanted to be a Niner. And I know you guys talked to her on the podcast last week and had a stellar career at Campbell, transferred, wanted something different. And man, a story of just talent, success, perseverance. Her junior year was tough. She didn't come in and have the junior spring that she wanted, on the field, and didn't get as much opportunity as she wanted, and just really revamped her mindset this year. And to, see what she's doing is so rewarding for me, and just to see her pitch from such a free place and have so much success. But she has a ton of postseason experience. She gets to say that she's been to the NCAA tournament a lot. And we're definitely going to miss her, on the pitching side, and, just also in the locker room. I think this year she really came out of her shell and really was just truly herself. And that was really great to see. Leah Powell transferred from South Carolina for last year. To transfer with 1 year left, it takes a ton of courage. It takes a ton of courage to say, like, okay, like, I've got 1 year left and I'm going to change my whole world just, for that 1 year. So I have a lot of respect for Leah, and, that she took the leap of faith and trusted us with her last year of eligibility. And, I think that Leah's experienced a lot of growth and maturity and what it's like to find her voice. I mean, Leah's got something to say all the time to the team. She's really dialed into her teammates, and she's really dialed into, what it takes to win, even if she doesn't pitch, what it takes to win and being a part of that and just being the best teammate that she can be. And, Leah is someone that could really help us here on the back month, softball in May. So I'm excited to continue to give her opportunities, to get outs for us on the field, and, just really thankful that she entrusted us with her last year of eligibility to go on the journey together with us this year. I know I'm missing somebody. Corey Hoffler. How can I miss Corey?
Yeah.
We've already talked a little bit about her, but
we covered Corey, in fairness.
Yeah, we've covered Corey, but I don't have enough time. I don't have enough words. I'm not ready. I know she's going to watch this. I know everyone's going to watch this, but like, I'm truly not ready for Corey not to be a Niner. She'll always be a Niner, but not to wear the uniform. I remember just a little story here for you. Back in the fall, we started fall ball. We get fall ball games, 8 of them, and it was just a fall ball game. And team had just started practicing and training, and it's like we're just getting going, and the new gals, and I even forget right now off the top of my head who we were playing, but the game started. It was like in the top of the first inning. We're on defense, and I look out and I look at Corey, and it hit me like just a wave of emotion that I'm like, gosh, this is it. This is her last year, and just wanting so much for her. And I've just challenged her to be such a leader every year that she's been here, and she's our head captain. And, I just could not be more proud of who she is. And she really has single-handedly changed our program inside and out. And so I shed tears on our first fall ball game of her senior year, watching her play defense. And I can't imagine what I'm going to be like at the end of this year. Or at the end of the spring. So I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
Yeah, we're not ready either. She's worn the uniform more than any other person in school history. So definitely a special player, and she's also a special person. She joined us last year on the show, and it was a great interview with her. She made for a great episode. We just sat back and let her talk, and kind of like we do with you, and it was great. It was great.
Yeah. I know I get real chatty, but they mean a lot to me. We spend so much time together, and they really do pour their heart and soul into the program, and the senior class has in their own unique way. And we would not be exactly where we are today, April 29th, Monday, going into North Texas series this weekend. It would not be the same journey if you take one of those people out of the equation. It really wouldn't. So. Did we cover everyone? I'm sitting here thinking, like, did we miss anybody? But I think that was everyone. Thank goodness, like I said.
Powell, Hoffler, and Mitchell.
Yeah, that's the crew. Those are the seniors this year. And thank goodness we're not talking about Sam or Ella or Abby or Christina Wellen. That's next year's crew. I'm like, I can't go there yet with those guys.
Yeah. One group at a time. One group at a time.
Yes.
And we can see. I mean, if you're listening on you may not pick up on, but you're watching on YouTube. I don't know, Coach. Maybe it's kind of dusty at your house or something. But
yeah, I've got some allergies. Inside here it's a little dusty. Calvin's dog hair is really getting me. He's laying here beside me. So
I think that's what it is. Kevin, it's your time to shine, buddy. Do we have the promotional schedule?
Yes, I looked it up on the promo site on Charlotte49ers.com, and this weekend, Saturday, May the 4th. It's for all you Star Wars fans. It's May the 4th be with you day, Senior Day also, which we've already talked about a little bit. There's going to be Star Wars themed Charlotte softball poster giveaway. So if you like Charlotte softball and you like Star Wars, Saturday you got to be at the Sioux.
That's your day.
And then that's your day. There's going to be pregame a Senior Day ceremony. I think I should mention there's going to be a graduation on Saturday. Graduation ceremony on Saturday as well. And then Sunday, Cinco de Mayo, listed here as Sunday Fun Day in the promo schedule. So should be a good
time to sit down in right field with some Corona, I guess.
BYOB, I guess.
I have heard a nasty rumor about Friday and first pitch activities. Kevin, I don't even want to bring up our record.
Well, they haven't listed in the promo schedule, so I don't know. They haven't got to it yet, I guess. Or maybe they're making a graphic for it.
Yeah, a graphic. That's what we need. That's what everybody needs. That's what the internet needs, is a graphic of us. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
That's a great idea. I
have
a meeting with marketing tomorrow, so I might bring that up.
You can just. It would be okay if you conveniently forgot to bring that up. Yeah, it would be okay.
It's going to be a great weekend. I mean, we're honoring our seniors on Friday night. We've got some special guests Friday night. Saturday, Dr. Gaber's coming and graduating. Anyone that's graduating with a degree on the field this semester. And then post-game Saturday, we're doing a big cookout for our seniors, honoring them and their families over at the Alumni Pavilion. So if you'd like to stop by, we'd love to have you guys. Then Sunday, Cinco de Mayo. So I'm sure on Sunday we'll be so focused on either winning the series or sweeping the series or wherever we're at that point. Sunday's kind of like our business day. And then, that'll give us a clear picture once Sunday is over of where everything ended up. And then that will dictate what we do throughout the week. So when we go to Wichita, is a lot determined on, what seed we end up with. Because if we're 1 or 2, we get a bye till the semis, which we won't play till Friday. So it will dictate when we go out to Wichita.
So just to recap that, it's North Texas versus the Niner Gals this weekend, 6:00 on Friday, 1:00 on Saturday, and 1:00 on Sunday. North Texas is 1 game behind the Niners for sole possession of second place, which includes that double bye that Coach mentioned. And we're tied with FAU, who's hosting Tulsa. So there's going to be a lot of great action on the field. There's going to be a lot of scoreboard watching all weekend long. And hey, Coach, think about it this way. And I remember last year the gals ended up sitting in center field watching the video board. If you're scoreboard watching in May, that's a good thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a really fun moment last year when we watched Middle Tennessee defeat North Texas on the video board. That was fun.
I just looked up FAU's schedule. The time for the game on Sunday, they're playing at noon, and we're playing at 1. So we should already know the deal during our game. So, unfortunately, we won't be able to sit on the field after the game and watch the scoreboard, but maybe we'll celebrate anyway.
We'll celebrate.
Absolutely. Plenty to celebrate this season, no matter what. This has been a lot of fun. And it's not anywhere near over. That's what's so awesome about it. All right. Well, producer Brad, we're in under an hour. You didn't think we could pull it off, did you? He just gave the shoulder shrug. He never knows. He's used to us by now. All right, folks. We have covered a lot of ground today. We hope you enjoyed all of it. And even more so, we hope you are psyched up for a weekend of Niner Gal softball, because this is going to be so much fun. It's a playoff atmosphere all weekend long at the Sioux. We hope to see you out there. We hope you have enjoyed this broadcast. If you have, think about subscribing to the YouTube channel. Subscribe on Spotify. Turn on notifications. Get notified about new content. All that good stuff. Check out Diamond Niner Report all over social media. Twitter's a great place to find us. So is Instagram and Facebook. We love hearing from you all and interacting with you while the games are going on, etc. So for Kevin, for producer Brad, and for Coach Ash, this has been Nick saying we're going to see you at the Sioux.